We were delighted to catch up with lighting designer Chris Moylan in Berlin at the industrial event venue Motorwerk. And we chatted to him about his career, about lighting art, about the importance of live events and living in this fantastic, vibrant and diverse city. How do you know this location?
Motorwerk is a location, it's pretty well known in Berlin. It's one of the very cool industrial halls that has a modern infrastructure. So it's the height and the shape that allows some very interesting installations to take place here.
I believe you were born in Canada, and obviously at some point you came to Germany and to Berlin and made it your home. So when did that kind of happen?
In 2003 I came to Berlin. Before that I was living in Montreal. Before that I was living in California, and before that I was in Seattle, and before that I was born in Canada. It's been a long and winding road, but yeah, I was born in Canada. I grew up more in America, lived in Canada again before Berlin, and basically I had a world tour, or a European tour in 2002, and went through all of Europe, and I was thinking about, even back then, moving maybe to England or to France, but then I came through Berlin and I completely fell in love with the city here and decided to move back, and I actually moved back exactly 1 year later, which was 2003, September 1st.
What do you so love about the city?
Well, Berlin really was an island for me in the middle of Europe. It was in the middle of Germany. It's a city where there was so much life, but so little crowds. There's a lot of action here, a lot of things to do. But there's also massive empty walls with no advertisement. There was, when I first came here, obviously it's changed a lot in the last 17 years, but when I first came here there was a lot of underground things to experience. There was a lot of art. It was incredibly inexpensive. It was a city where you could have such a full life with very little budget, and it really, the style of living really helped the art scene, and especially underground art scene, to really flourish here. So it was really all of that while being in Germany. So all of the infrastructure and all of the things that are necessary to have a good life were functional here. So it was a very big dichotomy for me. It was in the middle of the most progressive and successful countries, but an island of chaos, and I really loved everything about it. I think it was a good decision. Yeah, vibrance. Yes. Yeah.
When did your actual lighting design career start? Presumably that was in Canada, obviously.
Yeah, that was in Canada. That was before. Actually, I studied audio, digital recording, and other things. And I was working in California in a few studios and selling audio equipment and setting up systems. And then I came to Canada and went into live audio, which I did not really enjoy, especially doing things like monitors for a death metal band during a festival. Not the greatest experience. But I was working with a company, they also did lighting, and it was a really short jump to lighting because I saw there was a massive potential for improvement, and then I quickly realized that and discovered for myself that lighting is a much more subjective field. It was much more fulfilling. Lighting is a very different set of parameters. You have a light, you know what it can do, and you can get the most out of it.
You actually have an extremely diverse portfolio of clients now, lighting design clients. Mm-hmm. I mean, from clubs to cruise ships and so on. Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about how that developed?
It was pretty organic, I think. I mean, it was really, I was doing many diverse types of shows the first few years here, and then also in Canada. And that developed organically, where I did some larger outdoor events, some electronic music gigs, some installation gigs, some TV gigs, all sorts of different stuff, and they were interesting to me. The clients were happy, and it just kind of grew organically through different avenues, and now it's where it is now, that keeps it fresh for me, because if I was just locked into one avenue, I think it would be stagnating, it would be stagnant. So it's great to have, because when I can go to a theater gig and say, hey, this is something we did on an electronic music gig, and we can bring elements back and forth, it really keeps the designing fresh and interesting.
You've also got quite a good portfolio, quite a rich and different portfolio of music artists, haven't you?
Been a few.
Yes, have any of those been particularly formative throughout your career?
Yeah, there's been a few. I can say definitely Paul van Dyk, who's a DJ, an artist, a producer I've worked with many years, and we did a lot of touring together. I did a lot of show creation for him, and it was a wonderful collaborative process with him, because he also He plays all of his shows live. There was never a set list. We never programmed anything beforehand, which is wonderful because it was really allowed us to do this live creation, which we both wanted. And it was doing these tours for him was very much fly in, program 2 hours tops, visuals and lighting, do the show, get out. It was very much modern day rock and roll. It was allowed.
It's a very exciting way to work,
very
isn't it?
exciting and very spontaneous and always different. So that was great. But also, I mean, there's plenty of other artists who I've done some work with. Also, the artists I'm hoping to do work in the future. There was one, it was a tour I was hoping to do right before lockdown with Chris Moylan, who's a DJ, an artist, which we couldn't do thanks to Corona. I hope we can do it after some semblance of normalcy returns.
Yes, fingers crossed. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Talking of Paul van Dyk, he was one of the collaborators in the work that you did down here at the start of the lockdown in this venue here, which was called Lux Partum, which it was a remote controlled installation, but it was interactive, so people could join in on the internet and control the lights and the visuals, couldn't they? So can you tell me a bit about the whole concept of Lux Partum and how it came together?
Well, basically, beginning of lockdown, March, April, it was nice. We had a lot of fun, but at the beginning, also we were going stir crazy because we couldn't practice our creativity. We couldn't do what we normally do and create and work. So the idea that I had was actually there's a lot of people having the exact same problem as me at home, which is nice, but I really miss doing what we do, creating, programming, and this idea came to me that there's other people in the exact situation, there's locations that aren't being used, there's an opportunity here to do something for everybody. And this was the original impetus for the concept, Lux Partum. And this is only, I gotta say, only possible getting my collaborators on board, Matthias Schöffmann, Lars Morasch, and Andreas Schindler. We four created this project, which was a remote controlled, interactive, live lighting installation in Motorwerk, which allowed the users from all over the world, it was astonishing how many there were, to log in and have their 5 minutes on the system, which would let them control the lighting, change colors, change scenes, and it was always in time, programmed to a musical score by Paul van Dyk, which he created especially for us. And it was absolutely holistic. It was really, really great to see, and everybody, I think a lot of people enjoyed it around the world, and it was really great to see everyone come together and experience this.
And on that installation, I know that you had some Robe products. I think you had Points, Mega Points and Tetra 2s, didn't
Correct,
you?
Yeah.
How did they hold up for being on continuously for 10 days, was it?
10 days. It was 10 days, 24 hours a day, and it was astonishingly how well they hold up. We didn't have to correct presets once in the 10 days, so everything stayed clean. It was really, really impressive. In fact, we didn't have with the lighting any problems at all. We had one camera malfunction and a surprise Windows update, but otherwise everything was perfect.
You are actually known, so I've been told, for your exceptionally fast programming skills and also your ability to have detailed and complex conversations at the same time and make sense and program a perfect show. So when did you learn to do that kind of multiplexing?
Oh boy, I mean, programming is really about the time you put into it. So I've programmed for years and years and years, and sooner or later it becomes muscle memory. You just don't think about what you're doing, it just happens, and you just have to think of what you want to happen, what you want it to do. And obviously it's an incredible marriage to the consoles we use. It's muscle memory to where every button is and what the syntax is. So it's something that comes with time, and I believe I can say that playing an instrument helps to divide your hands together.
Do you play an instrument?
Yes, I do. I do play piano and guitar. And
I didn't know that.
It's definitely a help, not just for programming and musical ability, but also to program on the console, just to have dexterity and having your fingers go in the right place in the right moment. But yeah, it's just a measure of time. And the conversation at the side, yeah, can be. I like to have fun while we program. I like to make sure that it's not too serious, that we always have a laugh, and that's just as important to me as having a great show.
How important generally do you think live art and live entertainment are to people's lives and well-being?
I think live art and entertainment is absolutely essential to the human experience. I would say it's something that has been in our lives, in our culture, since the beginning of time. It's not something that's a luxury. I'd like to say to everybody watching that don't forget how important live art is and entertainment is, and if you go out, support it, do whatever you can to bring it back, because it's good for not just everybody involved, but it's good for your soul, and it really is important. So please support art and stay safe.